AGRI-FOOD.AI, the future sound of agriculture and food industry. The future is now.
Hello, here we are with the sound of the future. Charlotte, how can I export livestock from Australia?
The answer is simple. Contact the Australian Livestock Export Corporation Ltd, LiveCorp.
Do they organize the export of livestock?
No, LiveCorp is the service provider and research body for the Australian livestock export industry. LiveCorp works closely with exporters and other stakeholders to continuously improve performance in animal health and welfare, supply chain efficiency, and market access. The majority of LiveCorp's research, development, and extension activity is carried out through the Livestock Export Program, which is jointly funded by Meat Livestock Australia, the RDC for livestock farmers.
I know they use AGRI-FOOD.AI systems, but I am not exactly sure how.
Yes. Want to know more? Okay, let's contact LiveCorp and find out.
Okay, here we go. Hello everyone, here we are with the sound of the future. I am Anna, your host, and we have our AI expert, Charlotte, with us.
We ask everything and seek answers until we find. And I, the AI, always find everything. Trust me.
On today's episode, we will talk about the use of AI to improve supply chain efficiency in the livestock export industry with LiveCorp's research, development and extension manager Nick Baker and our AGRI-FOOD AI expert Gergő Boromissa.
Hi, Nick speaking.
And it's me, Gergő.
Nick, before we dive into AI technology, let's look at an overview of the industry. As far as I know, Brahman cattle are the best at tolerating the Northern Australian climate. This is the most often exported breed nowadays. How is it according to your data?
We predominantly export Brahman cattle. There is a few crossbreeds as well. They are a type of Bos indicus cattle, which means that they're more acclimatized to tropical weather. They like the warmer and wetter weather, which is what we have in Northern Australia. And it works quite nicely because the Australian climate is very good for breeding those type of cattle. And then that means that when we ship them over to Southeast Asia, they have the right climate to feed those animals up and fatten them up for their market.
And how big is the export volume and what are the destinations? Asia and?
In 2023, we exported about 600,000 cattle. And that's primarily beef cattle from Northern Australia to mainly Indonesia, but also Vietnam. And we also do export sheep that they predominantly go to the Middle East. And there are some other cattle, like dairy cattle, that go to places like China as well. And the voyage lengths for the beef cattle going just to Asia vary between 4 and 12 days.
To understand in more detail what modern technologies have been introduced to the livestock export industry, could you list some examples that have been trialed and implemented by exporters?
Sure. So we've actually done something similar to the project that we're talking about today, which was actually looking at sheep counting, and that was using mobile devices like your mobile phone that would record the animals and count the number of sheep going onto a truck or onto a ship. And we've done some other ones, other technology-based projects as well, like onboard environmental monitoring, which are mobile devices on board a ship that can record things like the temperature, humidity, gases, and that's actually using another technology that we've also trialed, which was installing a Wi-Fi on board ships so that those devices can talk to each other.
And the main reason you are speaking with us today is to discuss the cattle counting and weighting project, which uses the PigBrother AI technology currently utilized in the European and American pig industry. Please tell us how you came about this technology and project, and how did you two meet?
We have trialed a new approach with projects using something called open innovation. And really what that means is taking solutions from other industries and trialing them in our industry, so the live export industry. That was primarily how this project came about. We found that this was an issue that exporters wanted to solve, that they wanted to be able to more easily count and weigh their cattle onto and off of ships or trucks. And so we did a technology scout around the world to find a technology that would be suitable for our industry. And as part of that scout, we came across the PigBrother technology. Obviously, it was for pigs, and it has now been adapted to cattle.
And Gergő, were you surprised when you got the call from Nick's company?
It was quite simple because one day, maybe last year's May, an email landed in my mailbox telling, here's an open innovation, you may be interested. And okay, let's talk. And then it was just a miracle, and we landed in Northern Australia and doing a quite interesting pilot project with Nick and the Livestock team.
Your pig selector system can be modified to record data from Brahman cattle. Have there been any challenges in adjusting the technology to a different species?
Yes, absolutely. The most complex technology challenge was adapting to the outdoor environment, because all of these machine vision solutions are quite sensitive for the illumination changes, the shades, shadows. So we had to break our code to be able to solve the problem, but we did. I think we can say that, but Nick will respond.
Have
they done it? Nick?
Yes, so it looks like they have solved the problems. So there was some challenges in Broome, as Gergő said. There were some challenges with lighting in Broome and the environment there. It's very dusty and warm. So having the technology out there, I think, had a few challenges, but the team seems to have gotten around that, and they've done a very good job of progressing it.
How many cattle can you count with the technology now?
As many as you want, of course.
And what benefits will this technology have to the livestock export industry in a whole?
We have some very strict regulations in Australia for the live export of animals, and that applies throughout the entire supply chain. So this technology really enables us to have more information about the animals. So by being able to count the animals, as well as being able to understand the performance of the animals at certain points throughout the supply chain. So looking at pre-export, as well as once they're loaded and offloaded from the ships when they're traveling overseas.
Will be the loading and unloading faster due to this technology, or easier?
Yes. So the loading and unloading of animals should be easier and faster with this technology. So it will be easier to understand and have that information for the regulation.
And how could I imagine this technology working? Is there a tent above the bridge which is used to load the animals, or how can you solve these problems?
Well, minimal technical changes needed to be there. In Broome, where the pilot was, there were, let's say, a roof under where we were able to count and weigh the animals. And I would say that, according to the earlier question, that with this technology, we can help with giving the information digitalized, and also we can recording videos, so it can be used for quality control processes. The animals are, how they are kept, the welfare is okay, their weight is okay. So I think this is one of the most important value in this digital technology.
And Nick, how is the project progressing? Are there any promising results from the trials so far?
Yes, so we're very happy to report that the system is successfully counting cattle with 99% accuracy based on that trial in Broome. And also the weight estimation is very promising, with an average of 93% accuracy. But obviously with more information and more training, the AI will become better, and the accuracy of those will become better.
And what kind of different uses can you imagine? If you have so much data about the animals, how can you analyze it or use it?
Well, we can train our model, and then this technology can be used depending on the partner's customers' needs. So we are always modifying the core model, adding new features on it. It depends on what the exact need on the specific site or use case.
It sounds like this project is progressing nicely. What's next for the cattle counting and weighting AI technology? What do you think, Nick?
So I think it's been quite successful in this trial, and we wanted to bring this technology to the industry, and I think that's been very successful. But we would love to see PigBrother expand the technology across internationally, and maybe even set up an office here in Australia.
That would be nice.
And can the technology be scaled to other regulations, other countries?
Yes, of course. If you think about the AI model as a core feature, then what we produce, the information, it depends on what they need. So regulations and species, talking about species, now we can do pigs, Brahman cattle, and we are working with broiler chickens as well. So, and there are some inquiries for sheep from the Middle East. And also Nick mentioned they are exporting sheep as well. So I think we can count them. The weighing is more interesting in at the sheep's because the fur, the coat is much more complicated to estimate the weight based on image.
What can be done to make it easier? Do you have to shave all the sheep before counting?
Well, this will be an experiment, but for counting, I know that we can solve it in just weeks.
And what benefits can give this technology to the importing countries when they get their animals?
So the importing countries will also have more information. So when the animals are offloaded, they will be more easily able to count the animals off the ships, as well as have access to the weight of each individual animal, rather than having to weigh the animals by the truckload and only getting the average weights of the animals. Hopefully this would enable them to have more information about the specific weight of each animal.
And they will know that what they bought, they get.
Thank you very much. Thank you for being here, Nick. Have a nice day.
No worries. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Nick.
Okay, let's continue with the practical part of this job. Gergő, how can AGRI-FOOD AI work so far away with so complex projects? Do you travel with a big team for a lot of money, or 2 engineers and 2 small bags is enough?
Usually the second. We did some projects in foreign countries, in Europe and in Australia and in other continents. And Usually, we are trying to set up a mixed expertise team that consists of a software developer to solve the software challenges on site, because there are always challenges and problems to be solved. If there are no, then we will make some. We are quite good at it. And then there are a hardware expert, a hardware engineer, setting up the cameras to modifying the system, everything. And usually me, who can, let's say, communicate with the partners, pointing out the needs, everything, and organizing and keep the team alive.
And what are the challenges you meet most often? You mentioned the light in Australia, the sun, the weather, for example, rain. How can you handle rain?
With a roof.
You have to build a facility?
No. And the biggest challenge with every project, not just in other countries, here in Hungary, to adjust to the existing buildings and interior, outdoor. We are always asking for photos of the interior or the place, the site. We are always planning how to install the cameras, where to put the server, how we will do the cabling jobs, everything. But when we are arriving, it's always different a bit. And we have to solve it on the fly, and it's always, let's say, stressful for engineers, because they like everything well boxed and clear.
But you have a special kind of engineers who like challenges, who get alive when they have new problems to solve.
Yes, totally. It's let's say,
these are the inventors.
Yeah, and this R&D needs a special mindset. Yeah.
And on the side, you adapt the system, software system and hardware system also, to the specific place.
Yes, of course. Yes, it depends. It depends on the project. If we only need to deliver an existing solution, we can modify the software from here, Budapest, and we did some projects just online, so we didn't need to go there, vendor, and then do the stuff, because they had a team and they only needed to install a camera. So we had online projects as well.
And you mentioned before that sheep is a problem species because they have so much fur, the wool. Yeah. And what about chicken?
Chickens has feathers, yes.
Are they easy to count, easier than pigs, or more difficult?
The counting is not really important if we are talking about chickens. We need to monitor the buildings where the chickens are. We can produce heat maps, how they are moving indoors. Are they visiting the feeding place, the drinking spots or not? Because if they do not, then it means some illnesses might occur or some problems. And the most important question for chicken farmers is meat chicken, of course, so not egg layers, is the weighing information. For our preliminary pilot, we can see that we are able to achieve the average 95-97% of accuracy, estimating the average weight of the chickens. We will need to do some continuous piloting, but I would say that meaning of species, the chickens are much more easier, because currently only 1 or 2 genetics are used globally for broiler chickens, the Aviagen type. So if we can do this in France with our partner, then we can do it everywhere.
Are you working on a pilot in France now?
Yes, online.
Thank you very much.
You are welcome.
Thank you for everyone who listened to the AGRI-FOOD.AI podcast. I hope we can inspire you. Send us your questions, share your experiences, and we will turn them into podcasts. Keep up with the future. Stay with us. With us, the future is now.
If you have any questions or problems, don't hesitate to reach out. www.agri-food.ai.
Meet us on the internet www.agri-food.ai. And next week here on the AGRI-FOOD.AI podcast. You can find us on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, and on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel and receive notifications when a new episode is available. The AGRI-FOOD.AI podcast is the official release of AGRI-FOOD.AI. Host Anna Maronic, Sound Design 6. Recorded by Zoltán Mandácskó. Producer István Erdei and AGRI-FOOD.AI. This podcast was created by
Trip Visual, Trip Audio.